want to see that because it's a little bit over the top and it's, you know, blood, and some people look down at stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it is a fight. It is the fight game. It's going to build the hype even more. Yeah, of course, it'll increase interest and eyes on the fight.
He's an emotional being. Gets into the moment, forgets himself. You can see, excuse the bad language, but this is, you know, when you see that, this is the moment when he realised he beat up. It was that, you know, when John had done it, oh shit, what have I done? But he had to own it. I think the pressure was on. The pressure is now on John to behave himself. He's distracted.
Hey John, you see it? You see it?
How did they get cut from that?
I don't know, they both did. There you go.
What, from pushing against each other?
Come down here! Come down here! Come on! Come down here! Come down here! Boom you! I'll boom you! I'll beat me face to face. I'll eat Froch alive and I'll eat Bellew alive. And by the way, Bellew got his ass handed to him by a bantamweight when he was young, called Michael.
Don't come anywhere near me, nowhere in the vicinity within my jab, or you will be getting ironed out. You'll be unconscious. You'll be snoring before you hit the floor. Big John Fury, the bare knuckle champion, the fighting man. You'll be asleep before you hit the floor. So don't talk rubbish.
John Fury just got absolutely destroyed by the entire boxing world. And what happened next is career-ending embarrassing. The heated confrontation with Carl Froch has sent shockwaves through the sport, with every major boxing figure lining up to condemn his behavior. We're talking about Eddie Hearn, Johnny Nelson, Simon Jordan, and even Oleksandr Usyk all taking shots at the Fury patriarch. But here's what nobody's telling you about this incident. This wasn't just some random altercation that got out of hand. This was a calculated move that backfired spectacularly, and now John Fury is facing the biggest backlash of his entire career. The boxing community is calling it unprofessional, thuggish, and downright dangerous. And honestly, they're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's boxing, it's family. John's John. Both goading each other. Both very personal. Both means a lot to everybody. Shouldn't have done it.
Let me break down exactly what went down during this confrontation, because the details are absolutely wild. Picture this scene. You've got John Fury and Carl Froch face-to-face in a room packed with hundreds of people, cameras rolling, tension thick enough to cut with a knife. According to eyewitnesses, what started as typical pre-fight banter quickly escalated into something much more serious. Fury allegedly made direct threats toward Froch while laughing off the severity of the situation. Security had to physically intervene to prevent what could have been a full-scale brawl between both entourages. But get this, the whole time this is happening, John Fury is acting like it's all just entertainment, like he's putting on a show for the cameras. Meanwhile, everyone around him is genuinely concerned this could turn violent. That disconnect between how serious everyone else took the situation versus how Fury treated it. That's exactly why the boxing world is so pissed off right now.
Pressure is now on John to behave himself. He's distracted, a lot of attention and talk, and I'm quite sure someone will have a word with him at the authorities as well.
Eddie Hearn didn't hold back whatsoever when he weighed in on this mess. He straight up mocked the entire altercation, suggesting that John Fury's actions looked more like a desperate attempt to stay relevant than any kind of serious sporting exchange. Think about that for a second. Eddie Hearn, who's seen every kind of boxing drama imaginable, is calling this out as fake theatrics. Hearn basically said Fury is trying to manufacture relevance by creating controversy, and the boxing community sees right through it. But here's where it gets even more brutal. Hearn's comments weren't just criticism. They were a complete dismissal of John Fury as a serious figure in boxing. When someone like Eddie Hearn, who promotes some of the biggest fights in the world, publicly mocks your behavior, that's your reputation taking a massive hit. And the worst part, other promoters and fighters started echoing the same sentiment.
About 25 in each team. There's about 150 international media here as well in the mezzanine floor. It was still dramatic anyway. But thankfully the security did a great job as well.
Johnny Nelson delivered what might be the most devastating assessment of the entire situation. He didn't just criticize the confrontation. He basically said John Fury's behavior has crossed every line of professional conduct in boxing. Nelson, who's been around the sport for decades and has seen every kind of controversy, called this incident completely unnecessary and damaging to boxing's reputation. But wait, it gets worse. Nelson suggested that this confrontation could actually work against John Fury in the long run, because it shows he can't control himself in professional settings. Think about what that means for someone trying to be taken seriously in boxing. If you can't handle a press conference without threatening violence, how can anyone trust you to conduct business professionally? Nelson's comments weren't just about this one incident. They were about John Fury's entire approach to being in the public eye.
No, not really. It's thuggish behaviour. John Fury's, is boorish, thuggish, unedifying, unpalatable, uncouth, vulgar behaviour. Absolutely. But what do you expect from John Fury? John Fury's been in prison for gouging someone's eyes out. What did you expect him to do? Convert into a Samaritan? Is it a nice look? No. Was it a nice look over the years in boxing about so many things? This ridiculous sentimentalising of society, expecting everyone to behave in their best version of themselves.
Now here's where things get really interesting, because Simon Jordan absolutely obliterated John Fury's character in his response to this whole mess. Jordan didn't just call the behavior unprofessional. He called it thuggish and vulgar, saying it reflects poorly on the entire sport of boxing. But Jordan went deeper than just criticizing the incident. He made this brilliant point about how society sometimes romanticizes toughness while ignoring obvious personality flaws. Jordan basically said that expecting John Fury to behave calmly is unrealistic given his history, but that doesn't make the behavior acceptable or entertaining. He argued that just because someone has a reputation for being hot-headed doesn't mean we should excuse threatening behavior as normal sporting conduct. And you know what's wild? Jordan's comments got massive support from other boxing figures who have been quietly frustrated with John Fury's antics for years.
He's behaved like a thug in a disgusting manner, and then he's able to just laugh it off and joke it off and say, you know what, anyone comes near me, they're going to get a headbutt. So it's kind of justified what he's done. He's been vindicated for what he's done, as in, yeah, it's okay to go around like that and behave like an imbecile, and then still laugh and joke and still threaten to headbutt me in belly. I've told you what I think about headbutting this too.
Carl Froch's response to all this was absolutely explosive, and it shows just how serious this confrontation really was. Froch didn't just brush off the incident or laugh it away. He went on the record calling John Fury's behavior disrespectful and aggressive, demanding distance from the entire Fury camp. But here's the kicker. Froch specifically called out how John Fury allegedly laughs off serious threats while continuing to provoke hostility. That tells you everything you need to know about how Froch perceived the situation. He wasn't seeing entertainment or promotional hype. He was seeing genuine intimidation tactics. Froch's comments about having no place for this kind of behavior in professional boxing culture really struck a nerve with fans and fighters alike. Because let's be real, if Carl Froch, who's been in massive fights and dealt with every kind of pressure, is saying this crossed the line, then it definitely crossed the line.
To get in a man's face in front of a hall with over 500 people, what do you expect someone to do? Pushing and shoving, and we all know Big John's quick-tempered, you know what I mean? But he threw the headbutt first, so it is what it is. But I think when you get in someone's face and you're tolerating and pushing.
Isaac Lowe provided some crucial context about why this confrontation was almost inevitable, and his insights revealed just how dangerous the situation really was. Lowe explained that given John Fury's aggressive behavior and the public environment, something like this was bound to happen. Picture the scene he's describing. Hundreds of people watching, cameras everywhere, emotions running high, and John Fury's well-known quick temper on full display. Lowe pointed out that any pushing or shoving in that environment could have triggered a massive conflict involving multiple people. But here's what makes Lowe's comments so significant. He's basically saying that John Fury's reputation for being hot-headed has become such a liability that people expect these kinds of incidents. That's not a good look for someone trying to be taken seriously in professional boxing. When other fighters are saying your behavior is predictably problematic, that's your credibility taking a serious hit.
Within my jab, or you will be getting ironed out. You'll be unconscious. You'll be snoring before you hit the floor. Big John Fury, the bare-knuckle champion, the fighting man.
John had also called out Tony Bellew, and I think Tony Bellew's even more of a psycho than Carl Froch. So, just pick your battles. Don't go near them. Just my advice. And you've got to think about all of this from Tyson Fury's point of view, right? You're preparing for the biggest fight of your life. You go into an interview for 5 minutes, come out and your dad stuck the nut on the kid from the other side out of nowhere. Let's see what he's got to say about it.
I saw some idiot chatting shit and he got banged. End of.
Chatting shit, got banged. That really sounds like the guy was in his face fucking offering him out instead of pretty much minding his own business. Good reframing there.
What a way to sell, you know. This is show business.
Yeah, he really sold the fight there, because the first undisputed title fight for the last 25 years between two undefeated fighters, one who was previously cruiserweight undisputed champion of the world as well, but we need John Fury to stick the nut on some undersized man in order to hype the fight up. I'm not really sure that was needed, but okay.
The business side of this whole mess reveals something even more damaging to John Fury's reputation. Multiple sources are reporting that while there was allegedly an offer on the table for some kind of fight or exhibition, it wasn't seriously entertained by either side. So here's John Fury making all these public claims about being willing to fight anyone, creating all this drama and controversy. But when it comes down to actual business, nothing materializes. That disconnect between the public tough talk and the private reality is exactly what's frustrating boxing observers. It makes the whole confrontation look like manufactured drama designed to generate attention without any real substance behind it. And honestly, that's way worse than just having a bad temper. That suggests calculated manipulation of media and fans for personal gain, which is why so many people in boxing are calling him out right now.
Can't do it. You honestly think if these two come together like this, well, you know what's going to happen.
So what you
I'm going to keep them.
Eddie Hearn expressed serious concern about the safety implications of having John Fury and Carl Froch in close proximity again. His statement reveals that this has moved beyond typical boxing rivalry into genuine public safety concerns. Hearn emphasized the need for heavy security protection and keeping both men separated, which tells you everything about how seriously the boxing world is taking this situation. But here's what's really significant about Hearn's comments. He's treating this like a legitimate security threat, not promotional entertainment. When someone with Hearn's experience in managing high-profile boxing events is talking about public order risks, that means this incident has damaged John Fury's reputation in ways that go beyond just bad publicity. Boxing officials are now focused on damage control rather than allowing any kind of promotional benefit from the controversy.
I'm the old man, and the old man will go to town. But there's enough young men what will sort him out for them. You want some smoke?
Roman Fury jumped to his father's defense, but his comments might have actually made things worse for the family's reputation. Roman argued that criticism toward John Fury is unfair while highlighting his past contributions and fighting mentality. But here's the problem with that defense. It completely ignores the specific behavior that everyone's criticizing. Nobody's questioning John Fury's past or his toughness. They're questioning his judgment and professionalism in this specific incident. Roman's defense also included indirect challenges toward Carl Froch, which keeps the hostility alive rather than trying to de-escalate the situation. Many boxing analysts believe this approach is counterproductive because it shows the entire Fury camp is doubling down on controversial behavior rather than acknowledging any problems. That kind of response usually makes backlash worse, not better.
Bad behavior, Fury team, Fury father. It's problem only Fury.
Oaksender Usyk's comments about this whole situation might be the most damaging of all, because they're coming from someone with no stake in British boxing politics. Usyk pointed directly at the Fury camp and suggested that the problem lies within their team rather than with outside influences. Think about the significance of that statement. You've got the unified heavyweight champion of the world basically saying the Fury family has internal conduct problems. That's not just criticism. That's a professional assessment from someone at the very top of the sport. Usyk's international perspective adds weight to the controversy because it shows this incident has attracted negative attention beyond just British boxing circles. When fighters from other countries are commenting on your family's behavior, that means the damage to your reputation is spreading globally.
Of the king of the world. I think he's referring to Tyson Fury. You know, when you have kids, you know, most people, when they want to talk about their children, they might pull their mobile phone out and show a few pictures. Big John just shows his balls. That's where they came from. If there's anyone who needs a Manscaped advert, it's fucking John Fury. Always on about
personal attacks and mocking tone that followed this incident reveal just how much damage John Fury's reputation has sustained. Instead of the boxing community focusing on competitive aspects or sporting achievements, the entire narrative has shifted toward personality conflicts and questionable behavior. Commentary about how John Fury speaks about family pride and masculinity in public appearances has become a source of mockery rather than respect. That's a massive shift in public perception. When someone goes from being seen as a colorful character to being seen as a joke, that's career-damaging stuff. The fact that media coverage is now framing John Fury's statements as controversial entertainment rather than serious boxing commentary shows how much credibility he's lost in this whole mess.
I think Tyson has bipolar.
Johnny Nelson's analysis of the long-term implications for John Fury might be the most insightful take on this entire situation. Nelson believes the confrontation may ultimately work against Fury because it could provoke an even stronger response from Carl Froch and other boxing figures. But Nelson also acknowledged that, from a promotional standpoint, the controversy did generate attention and keep people talking about the rivalry. However, he made a crucial distinction between attention and respect. Sure, people are talking about John Fury right now, but they're not talking about him in ways that enhance his reputation or credibility. Nelson's point about the incident being more about spectacle than sport really hits the nail on the head. When your behavior becomes entertainment rather than being taken seriously, that's a problem for someone trying to maintain influence in professional boxing.
That subscribe button, or forgot to hit that subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button. It's really important. It will help grow the channel. I am trying to chuck different types of content.
Multiple boxing observers have pointed out that John Fury's behavior during this incident reinforced every negative perception people already had about him. The way he moved directly toward the confrontation, the uncertainty about what he actually intended to do if he reached Carl Froch, and his treatment of the whole thing as entertainment rather than a serious professional situation. All of that confirms what critics have been saying about his judgment and professionalism for years. But here's what makes this incident particularly damaging. It happened in front of hundreds of people with cameras rolling, so there's no ambiguity about what occurred. This isn't about different versions of events or he said she said situations. Everyone saw exactly how John Fury handled himself in a high-pressure professional setting, and the consensus is that he handled it poorly.
Josh Kelly to Nick Ball lose in a close one last week, which was a great night in Liverpool. Wood Warrington this week, the rematch in Nottingham, can't wait to be there. March is absolutely laden with great fights, April. So big fight nights ahead on DAZN. Enjoying my TalkSport slot on a Tuesday with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. And
some people in boxing are trying to frame this whole mess in a more positive light, suggesting that both John Fury and Carl Froch are natural showmen who thrive on controversy. The argument is that this kind of confrontation should be viewed as part of boxing's promotional culture rather than a serious personal conflict. There's definitely some truth to the idea that modern boxing blends sport with entertainment, and strong personalities do keep audiences engaged. But here's the problem with that perspective. There's a difference between entertaining controversy and behavior that makes other professionals uncomfortable. When multiple respected figures in boxing are expressing genuine safety concerns, that suggests this went beyond acceptable promotional tactics into something more problematic.
So technically proficient, he's so good. Look at his amateur record. Over 235 amateur fights, lost a handful of them fights. If you look at Tyson Fury's amateur record, I think he's had about 35 fights and also lost a handful of them fights. So in the amateurs...
The hypothetical matchup discussions that followed this incident reveal another layer of damage to John Fury's reputation. Spencer Oliver and other analysts found themselves discussing how dangerous a fight between John Fury and Carl Froch could be, but the conversation highlighted some uncomfortable realities. At 48 years old, Carl Froch is still seen as someone who could potentially handle John Fury in a competitive setting. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement of John Fury's fighting credentials. The fact that the boxing community is treating a potential matchup more as entertainment than as serious competition shows how much respect John Fury has lost as a legitimate figure in the sport. When people are discussing your potential fights as novelty exhibitions rather than serious boxing, that says everything about how the sport views your current status. So there you have it. John Fury's confrontation with Carl Froch has resulted in widespread condemnation from every major figure in boxing, damaged his reputation internationally, and raised serious questions about his professionalism and judgment. This isn't just about one bad moment or losing his temper. This is about a pattern of behavior that the boxing community has finally decided is unacceptable. From Eddie Hearn's mockery to Simon Jordan's character assassination to Alexander Usyk's professional dismissal, the message is clear. The sport has had enough of John Fury's antics. And honestly, this might be the beginning of the end of his relevance in boxing. So here's my question for you. Drop it in the comments. Do you think John Fury can recover from this level of backlash, or has he finally crossed a line that the boxing world won't let him come back from? If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening behind all the headlines, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because the fallout from this incident is just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.